Yeah, so this year I have the fortunate privilege of doing 4 separate cars for SEMA.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. My name is Robert. I'm the owner here at StudioRSR, and today we're back again with Daniel Song. As you guys have watched the channel before, we've done a lot of work together. So today we're going to be doing an intro to your newest build. So why don't you take it away?
Yeah, so this year I have the fortunate privilege of doing 4 separate cars for SEMA. By far the most ambitious year probably in the last 5 years. And so Studio obviously has been an incredible and valuable partner on a lot of these projects, not only from product support, but really from sort of a technical perspective, because a lot of these parts require obviously professional installation, somebody to be able to look over it, make sure it's cohesively working. And so Studio has been really incredible being a technical partner on a lot of these builds. On top of that, their facility being local to me gives me sort of a remote place to kind of work on my cars. So thank you so much for that.
We were joking around the other day, like, you know, all these parts you guys see behind us, which we're going to talk about in a second, we're in a room, and I was like, Daniel, you know what, I'm just going to rent you part of the office space, and you could just have you keep your cars here, you could have an office back there.
Yeah, it sounds like I might start getting an invoice for rent soon, because my parts literally probably take up one of their dedicated storerooms between this project, 2 more that are lined up, and some of the G86 race car parts that are sitting in a room. So, but anyway, so this is the latest of the 4 projects. We had 3 that were originally planned for this year, and Adro reached out to me a few months ago and said, hey, we're doing a G82 M4 wide body. It's going to be a very, very limited kit. They're actually only doing 10 of these kits, so it's going to be a numbered serial badged car. They said, hey, we're only doing 10 retail kits, and we would love for you to build one of them. And I told them, hey, unfortunately the timing doesn't work out. I've already got commitments on 3 cars. I'm financially already knee deep in those cars. But when presented and shown the renders, the car is incredibly amazing. I mean, you guys can take a look at some of these images of the G82 Adro wide body. It's phenomenal. So I was sold on that. Then I had to reach out to obviously a couple strategic partners to see if they would be interested in partnering with us. And I'm so very lucky that obviously, you know, Robert over at StudioRSR said yes, and some of my friends over at I&D said yes, Golden Wrench, and a few of these friends that I know, all were very enthusiastic and excited about contributing to the project. And so, you know, it made it kind of a no-brainer. I said yes to the project, and so at the time of filming right now, the Adro kit is probably being loaded on a plane right now in Korea and inbound via a shipping crate, and should be here in the next few days. But in the meantime, I wanted to show you guys the stockpile of parts that have been kind of gathering here the last 2 weeks at StudioRSR. We still have other packages coming in from I&D and other vendors, but I think we have enough here to kind of go through and just kind of showcase some of our partners' products. This build project, based on our just rough estimation, between the kit, some of the components we'll talk about.
Wait, did you add it up too?
Yeah, okay. We're like tiptoeing on probably a 6-figure build here without the actual cost of the car. So we'll go through, maybe later on we'll actually do a spreadsheet and just show people what retail, just for giggles, like what that kind of looks like. It is pretty bonkers, but to be able to get so many premium partners and sponsors who represent the top of their industry, all collectively working together to build what we consider kind of like the ultimate G82, I'm really excited about. So I want to showcase some of those products that are going in the car today. Yeah.
Before we do that, for me, this project for Daniel is kind of like a personal success, because if you guys don't know, Daniel's he's built a lot more JDM cars, I feel like, right? That's your background. You have a Nissan, you got the Z back home, you built GTRs, other cars like that. So I think being around the shop for the last 2 years, being surrounded by BMWs, it's finally worked. So it's been a 2-year success story.
Converted to the dark side.
To the dark side. But yeah, anyway, let's talking about numbers again, about these parts. Just back here, I added it up while we were getting everything set up. What do you think is just here? Not the car, not everything that's still on the way.
I would say just on this rack alone and what's on the floor in front of us, what, 20 grand?
Yeah, it's actually like 23 and change.
Yeah.
So
yeah, here's 23,000 of the kit. I believe Adro's G82 wide body kit is 35,000, I believe.
Retail,
that's the retail price of the kit. I&D is sending over a CSL trunk from Carbonius. It's a dry carbon autoclaved CSL trunk. Phenomenal. And look, my heart's gonna stop at this too. Like, it's like the price tag is pretty hard to swallow. 16, I think about $17,000 for that CSL trunk. So, I mean, there's, you know, in the Recaro podiums, they're about $7 grand for the pair of seats, not including the brackets, the hardware, the sliders. And that's coming in. We have the Eisenman exhaust. I believe it's their race edition exhaust. I don't even know what those prices are right now at this point, but again, like I said, we'll do a spreadsheet at the end of it, you know, but I got a feeling this is close to a 6-figure build for sure.
For sure. So, yeah, why don't we start with what we're going to be attacking first. So obviously we work very closely with CSF, and those parts are obviously towards the performance side of the build. So I think we're going to keep this right now as a stock turbo car, right? And real quick, just to go over the car itself, it's a 2023, it's a 6MT manual, and it does have the carbon bucket seats, but those are going to be changed out. Yeah. So anyway, back to the CSF stuff. Yeah, obviously we've got the billet one-piece aluminum manifold from CSF. They're full suite, meaning the heat exchanger and the transmission cooler. Yeah, so we're gonna have to check because I don't think this manual car will be able to use the transmission cooler.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I don't know if I specified to Ravi that we were running a manual car, but yeah, so we'll have to find out.
Cool. Well, I got the CSF stuff. Yeah. Why don't you take it away?
Yeah, so obviously we got the full cooling performance stuff from CSF. We have, let's start with eVenturi, right? eVenturi has been a great partner of mine on a number of our builds. We debuted the A90 Supra eVenturi. Believe it or not, it's a little did you know fact. The very first eVenturi A90 Supra intake was featured on my V1 Pandem Supra build. The very, very first GR Corolla intake is actually on my car right now. This is by far not the first G series intake, I know that, but the point is, eVenturi has been an incredible, incredible partner, and when they heard, obviously, that we were getting on board, they sent over their satin carbon intake, as well as their satin carbon engine cover. We're gonna have to modify the engine cover. I believe there's a piece that we can trim away to showcase the CSF manifold. It's a beautiful piece. Obviously, I&D's done a number of these. You guys actually did the install for I&D this past week, so it's gonna be incredible. So those are the parts that came in from eVenturi.
Real quick.
Yeah.
So I love when eVenturi does the satin finish on all their carbon, right? So was the satin finish, was that a thing before you asked for it?
So that, you bring up a good point.
Yeah.
Bilal is gonna go back and look at the records, but prior to me asking for it on the Supra, there was no satin carbon or matte carbon finish on eVenturi. eVenturi was strictly gloss carbon, and it's my request on the V1 car where I wanted it in satin. That kind of kicked things off, and now obviously across their product lines, they offer glossy or satin finish, so.
Thanks to Daniel, because thanks to I&D and to CSF, you know, we get to keep one of I&D's old satin engine covers, and I've always wanted some satin eVenturi stuff, so yeah, looking forward to that. And I'm glad you got satin. It'd be weird if you didn't, because it's kind of your thing.
That's our trademark eVenturi colorway, right? The satin finish. So yeah, so let's go from eVenturi. I think, so we did CSF, we did eVenturi. The next segue is, I guess, I&D. I&D is sort of a massive distributor for BMW performance parts. They sort of house and collect all the biggest brands that are out there. It's kind of sort of like the one-stop shop for like online ordering for BMW parts. I&D was gracious to basically open up their catalog and for me to do kind of some online shopping spree. Again, the order basket was a little crazy, and I sent it over to I&D, and they said that these are certain partners that would get on board. So we have a couple products. Fall in Line sent over their oil cooler guard, which goes to the bottom of the car. Obviously, it's a very vulnerable area where a cooler is mounted. It's kind of cool that they made the space to mount it parallel to the floor, but it's also very precarious that it's like right there where
protected by plastic.
I know. So it is nice to be able to get a little bit more of a robust guard to protect that piece, because that would be bad news if there was like road debris or some shrapnel on the road that would just pierce through that. So we have that. We have the RKP wheel liners. That's for the front. The G82 is, from my experience, like the A90, has a notoriously small front wheel well. And so, I mean, I'm hearing that for G series owners, even just spacering their stock wheels to flush fitment people are making contact in the front wheel well. So you can imagine when you're wide bodying the car, an extra 60, 70 millimeters, you're gonna for sure make contact. And so we have the RKP front liners to increase clearance in that front wheel well. We have their front lip protectors. That's gonna go to protect the dry carbon front lip on the Adro kit. And there's a lot of stuff. We have the sort of the DRLs to change it to the CSL style, the yellow DRL headlights. They sent over these cool like tow hooks, and you know, they have a couple colorways, right? I think they have red, black, and then this sort of like cool like M Motorsports look kind of thing. It's very subtle, but I think it's really, really cool. So we have the tow hooks. They're sending us over the tow hook covers so that it keeps it like super OE plus. And then moving on, I guess from Motorsports Hardware, friends down the street from us here, they set me up with some of their spacers. We'll go ahead and dial in some of the wheel fitments just to kind of give you an idea. I know for the people that are watching, it's all about wheel fitment, that extra flush fitment.
What is the wheel?
Oh, okay, so I guess we're revealing it a little bit here. So I'm actually for the very first time working with Work Wheels Japan.
Oh, wow.
And Work Wheels Japan has graciously decided to help me build a sort of a pretty aggressive wheel. We needed a sort of, I've always done traditional.
All the
like
Euro
one-piece
guys are like, oh my God, again. But you know, I love it when it doesn't matter if it's made in Japan or if it's a Japanese brand, a JDM brand. Like, come on, it's 2023. Let's just make the coolest shit.
Yep, exactly. And for me, I've done this. I've done Advan wheels on an Elise. I'm doing actually T37s on an Aston Martin. So there's going to be a lot of sort of Euro purists that are going to be upset that I'm crossing these like sort of boundaries and genres. But Work Wheels Japan is building me a set of VSXX 20-inch wheels. I don't know the specs off the top of my head, but they're massive. I mean, just trust me, they're going to be massive. It's going to have some deep dishes. They're being built in Japan as is. But what I was mentioning about these spacers is, you know, as much as I want sort of a spacerless perfect fitment wheel, this is a brand new wide body, meaning there's just me and Adro Korea right now are the only ones to have access to this kit as of time of this filming. And so we don't have very many opportunities to build a wheel. Adro, even with their data, built wheels from a competitor, sent it to Korea, and even that spec was incorrect. And so they're rebuilding their wheels in Korea as we speak. And so I really only have one shot to get this right for SEMA. And so I had to build the wheels within about 20 millimeters of what the true size, we think the true size is going to be. And then based on the final suspension settings, the offset, the camber, and all that stuff, we have the ability to use the Motorsport Hardware hub-centric spacers to just fill in what we don't have there, which I think is going to be fine.
At least you won't have to make the custom machine spacers you had to make for the Supra.
Yes.
We'll throw in a picture of those.
Those were like Campbell soup cans. Those were huge. So we have the spacers. We have their Titan cold forged lug nuts. We also have their extended studs, which, you know, obviously is a pain in the butt when you have the wheel bolts, you know, for mounting wheels. So we're going to be converting over to their wheel studs as well. From our friends over at Golden Wrench, thank you, Mario, who's also a good friend of ours over at, you know, in Seattle. So Golden Wrench set us up with all of their billet caps. Mario went one step further and offered a sort of one-off anodized set. Now, let me take that, not anodized set, but an anodized color match set. So we're going to be debuting a brand new color, a sort of a dynamic PPF film from Inazitech. We won't reveal the color right now, but those caps should give you kind of a clue as to where the color is kind of going. So the caps were dialed into a swatch of the Inazitech film, and I think that's so above and beyond cool because Mario did a set of caps, and he offers green caps off the shelf, and I just say, hey, those are going to be close enough, and he says, no, 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 send me the swatch. I want to anodize this exactly to that swatch, and so he got it pretty dang close. And so we have a full set of billet caps that are going that are going to be color matched to the car. So thank you to Golden Wrench. We should talk about the home court products, right? What you guys are also known for. Beyond, obviously, track prep, building cars, technical installations on all kinds of performance parts. One of the products that you guys are very well known for is your roll cages. And so it only made sense that we would run a StudioRSR G82 cage. So we have the cage ready to go. We also have your performance downpipes to be mated to the Eisenman exhaust. So that's going to be really fun.
So this cage that's sitting here in this shot is not actually Daniel's cage, but we put it here for the video. But I guess we'll announce it now. We're going to be doing a 6-point G82 cage. So everyone's been hitting us up online. You know, we already have the 4-point, and it's not going to take that much more to add the 6 6-point with the door bars, with the wraparound on the dash and the roof and the crossbars. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And then we'll also be incorporating our seat delete, so keep it clean inside. Yeah.
So he said it, it's in posterity, it's forever on YouTube. So if you guys see a 4-point cage in that SEMA, shame on Toby and Robert. If you see the 6-point, well, that is, he fulfilled his promise from YouTube. So we have the cage, we have the downpipes, and I guess one of the newest pieces. So I had kind of an idea of where I wanted to go with the steering wheel, and Robert kept teasing me that friends over at JQ Works was working on something really, really special on the F chassis, and so I saw some teaser videos. I got to go to a Beamer Invasion event where they actually physically debuted the steering wheel, and since the debut, it's sort of become this like viral thing. Anybody and everybody in the BMW world seems to either have bought this, showcasing this, or it's just everywhere, and I'm sure you guys have seen it by now, but it's the JQ Works, obviously, steering wheel adapter, right? And it's really, really cool because, you know, for people that want to keep a lot of the functions that are available on their OEM wheel, that's like one of the sacrifices that I've had to make traditionally in the past when I go to aftermarket steering wheels. I have to give up the infotainment controls or the cruise control buttons or whatever performance switches that are there. And like I said, there's only a few options available in the marketplace now, and JQ Works just comes kind of out of the blue and just offers this incredible package that I think is, to me, I look at like quality, fit and feel, and just this thing just blows my mind when it comes to it. So yeah, JQ Works, like I said, they have an F chassis available steering wheel right now that's available, and they were gracious enough to let me know back at Beamer Invasion a few weeks ago that they have an incredible commitment to debuting a G chassis steering wheel, which obviously was in their lineup always, but we're going to be debuting that G chassis steering wheel at SEMA. You'll be able to see it in this Adro wide body car, but in the meantime, let's just give you a quick look at the F chassis one. I know you did a video, so let's grab this off the shelf. Yeah.
Lawrence from JQ Works, very cool guys. You know, they came over and they showed us their prototype for the F chassis, and he told me you can take pictures of it but don't show anyone. So Lawrence, if you're watching this right now, I showed it to Daniel like the next day, so I apologize, but it's happening, so I got him to switch over.
So yeah, because Robert kind of knew that I was getting ready to purchase another product, and he just said, you're gonna want to hold off. So let's look at this. I mean, first off, to me, like, again, I don't know much about steering wheels, but this thing looks like a sim rig, right? This thing looks like something straight out of a video game. It's so dang cool. From what I was told, sort of a brief overview, this thing is all custom CNC parts, right?
There's 32 CNC parts.
So this, I mean, again, I know this is not conveyed on video, but this thing has some weight and heft to this, right? I mean, this is not some plastic, like, injection molded piece.
Exactly.
This is a beautiful, again, I know this can't be conveyed on video, but it's the steering wheel hub, right? A quick release, right? Yeah. This quick release here. And then this main piece, this body, which adapts to like pretty much any tri-spoke flat steering wheel, right?
That will fit this shape between the buttons.
Exactly. So
which is a pretty big space.
A pretty common Sparco wheel, Momo wheel. I've seen people running Sparco Momos, I don't know, OMP wheels, all work with this. So you can use your favorite wheel, dimension, whatever you want. And then you get the benefits of all the OEM functionality that comes on your car. Now again, this one is for the F chassis. You'll notice that this is for a manual car, so it doesn't have the paddles, but typically, like if you have an automatic car, you would get obviously the JQ Works paddle shifters as well, which is like really, really nice. I know you changed yours out on your G82 as well, right? The first day. That was like your day one mod, is to change the JQ Works paddles. So, you know, again, like I said, for your automatic guys, it's a no-brainer. It's like all built in, and again, it's not just an add-on, it's a completely different housing, right? So this is a completely different housing for the manual guys, and I was told that these two buttons here, all of these buttons light up, so they're all illuminated. I mean, there's, again, such the tactile feel of this. That, again, so cool. Anyways, two custom programmable buttons.
Yeah, for use.
For use.
Yeah. So the thing with like something like this, the only way to get this to work and be as non-invasive as it is and just plug and play with those nice data pins is to have their own proprietary board. So none of this function stuff would work unless they made their own like board to have all their custom programming programmed into to get this nice piece to fully function, be no headaches. It almost reminds me of like an Apple product for a car.
I mean, that's probably the best way to put it. It's like an Apple product for a car, right? It's like we're getting an iPhone 15 and a JQ Works steering wheel hub, right? right? So yeah, I mean, this is super cool. Again, 2 custom programmable buttons, no splicing, 100% reversible.
Yeah.
You want to know the coolest thing about this, Aldo? The coolest thing? This is what I nerd out on. JQ Works built this billet. This is billet, guys. Yeah. This is a billet tool for one purpose. It's not permanent. It's simply so that when you're torquing down your hub to your car, that you can bolt this to your steering wheel hub to give you the leverage to hold your hub in place while you torque down your... Yeah. How cool.
It's just like the amount of thought that goes into their product.
Exactly. Like this reminds me, again, shout out to Mario over at Golden Wrench. For his GR Corolla kit, he has a sort of a windshield or coolant reservoir, like this like bleeder cap. And it's this just little hex bolt kit. But in order for them to not mar the billet finish, he prints this 3D printed like socket wrench thing. It's a one-time use. It has enough torquing capacity to be able to like torque down the bolt. But I love that there are companies like JQ Works, like Golden Wrench, that are, like think of the end user experience to go as far as to say, hey, we want to make installation a breeze and simple. And I don't know, it blows my mind. So really, really awesome that JQ Works is going to come on board and we're going to be able to debut the G chassis steering wheel. Yeah.
And that's what I love about, you know, doing builds like these and basically the whole aftermarket right now. You know, we're positioned as a shop to be able to bring all these different parts together, all these different brands and people behind it. You know, JQ Works is like a staff of like 2-3 people doing crazy things like that. You know, Mario's got, at Golden Wrench, it's just Mario and the other guys there. It's a very small company, and then we also have big companies like IND and CSF and you know, Work Wheels behind it. So it's very cool that it all comes together and then we're able to put our hands on it and get everything to work. So I think, I don't know, where do you want to go from here on out?
I mean, next is just waiting for the Adro kit to land. For us to show off, which I don't think I can prior to SEMA, but again, the new dynamic PPF, color changing PPF from Nazatech that will be debuting on the car. We have our tires that are sitting like off camera right now from Toyo Tires, obviously. And so we have all the parts that are almost here. Again, we have a few more things that are again coming in from IND. We have one more package. We're waiting for the JQ Works, the G chassis steering wheel. And again, the Adro kit to land. Oh, we also have air suspension. Now that's a big first for me on this car. Again, it comes back down to logistics and maneuverability. G82 sound like there's a very tight wheel clearance. So I didn't want to get coilovers, put it on, have a static stance, and realize that I was not going to get the clearances needed to be able to maneuver that car around. So again, I only have one shot to get this right before SEMA, and so I opted for now to go with air suspension, and Prazis was able to send over and build a G82 strut, so specific to the G chassis, air struts. That's coming with their sort of S4 management kit, so that'll be here. So we got to put the air suspension in.
You guys at home have no idea how big this is, because all of Daniel's builds have been static. Like out of, you know, all those numerous builds throughout the years, they've always been static. And then he just reminded me before we started, because I forgot, he texted me that he's doing air, and it's just like, what? But so yeah, it'll be the first full-on BMW build, even though you had a 335, that was kind of like a daily car. And then, but now this is like, obviously like a 6-figure parts build. So yeah, looking forward to doing everything else. It is now September 15th. When does the car need to be done?
The car gets loaded up on September 28th. It'll be in Vegas on the 30th. And then staged on the 31st, I believe, if I remember. But we have we have about 45 days.
Okay.
Yeah, 45 days to get the. You're like, did I say 6 point? Edit that out. 6 point, 45 days. Get it done, studio.
So I'm getting crazy deja vu right now, because if you guys go back a year in our channel, the same thing happened. We said 45 days, and then the build happened on the G86, and then we're like, oh shit, there's like 10 days left.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we can get all this stuff done and get everything together. But that's one of the great things with working with Daniel, is that his planning and logistics and getting everything here for us to do our thing makes it that much easier to just focus on getting the job done. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit us up. Any comments, we'd love to see them in the comment section below. Please follow us at StudioRSR. Follow Daniel at driven.mind or driven.daniel, and please like and subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next one.